Hmm. Usually, of course, when I come up here, for the most part anymore, for SmackDown Live, I'm always, very energetic. Excellent show. This was great. I'm so pumped for next week. I still feel that way, but I need some time just to sit back and really think about what happened on this episode, particularly because of the biggest shocker of a title change, of course, that happened tonight as well. That really makes me wonder what's going to happen now with that main event for WrestleMania, as we are going to be getting, of course, the women main eventing WrestleMania this year for sure. But now might have added a little more of a twist to it with something that happened tonight on SmackDown. It's got me wondering for sure what's going on here. Of course, also we have the hashtag Kofi Mania. We have it happening for sure now. Did they do it the right way though? I'm not too sure. This was one of those episodes of SmackDown Live. What's up, Mark? This was one of those episodes of SmackDown Live that I gave it the grade I did in the description box below. Only because it's one of these episodes where I feel like I need to see what happens next. It's not like last week, when Kofi did not win, the gauntlet match after, of course, he technically did win the gauntlet match. But then he lost to Daniel Bryan, of course, afterwards, which, fair game, having Kofi just beat Bryan again in a gauntlet match was just going to make Bryan look weak and make it obvious that Kofi can beat Bryan. Even though he's, even though that means he, shoot. If Kofi beat Bryan in the gauntlet match, means, what's the point of having the match at Mania? Because we all know that Kofi can beat Bryan. But I was confident that, okay, Kofi's not out of this. But did they do this right? We'll see. Again, it's one of those episodes, again, that I'm just like, okay, this could be good. But I got to see a little more. And I'm not 100% confident with the direction a couple of things are going with after SmackDown. And as it leaves me pretty confused as to, what is going on. But we'll get into this, of course. But what's going on, guys? This is the Club of Demand 1993. And I'm coming at you live for my SmackDown Live review from the March 26th, 2019 edition of SmackDown Live that took place in, I believe it's called Uncasville, Connecticut. Or as I used to call it when I was little, Connecticut. Because I never pronounced Connecticut. I used to say Connecticut. But anyways, Uncasville, Connecticut. It is the second to last episode of SmackDown Live before WrestleMania 35, of course. And of course, it means 12 more days, well, technically 10 more days until I will be on the road to WrestleMania because I leave from New York next Friday night. But yeah, a strange episode of SmackDown. Was it terrible? No. It was still good. It was interesting, eye-opening. But the stuff that they did, I'm like, was this the right way to do it? And where does this go from here? And I'm not too sure how I feel about it. So good episode. We got things to talk about. We got some things to discuss. So let's jump right into it and see what we got here. Mark also said in the live chat, why did they give the title to Charlotte and what does this mean for Asuka? We'll discuss that, of course, shortly. I'm mad Randy Orton ruined that awesome match between Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. Definitely builds up heel heat, but, it would have been nice to at least see, some sort of a match out of them, basically, I felt. Because all we really got was just a little bit of submissions, but, we'll talk about that. And you also loved how everyone came out to show support for Kofi. Oh, definitely. That was amazing there again. I really like, especially the last couple weeks, especially since Fastlane ended, how, backstage and the baby faces are even, showing more support for Kofi, which is awesome. Again, though, there's something about this that seems a bit off, though. Of course, we'll talk about it, of course, once we get into the show. So we open up with the New Day coming out. Xavier says they can be serious. The past few months, they've been on an emotional roller coaster. Big E says, we've been here for this entire incredible journey from New Day sucks to New Day rocks for almost 5 years. Woods says, it's been incredible being here and traveling around the world. It's been a one hell of an experience, and they want to say thank you. But then Big E says that him and Xavier Woods have spoken, and they discussed walking away because of all the obstacles put in Kofi's way. They've done a lot of cool things and made a lot of friends, but he starts to trail off. And then Xavier takes back over, saying the hard thing is seeing how Kofi's being treated. And not just recently, but for the entire past 11 years. The power of positivity isn't just a catchphrase, and Kofi exudes the power of positivity. Their brother does not know the word quit, and they can't come to a decision until they get some answers. Unfortunately, the person with those answers is Mr. McMahon. So they ask Vince to come out here and address him face to face and talk about what's going on here. They have no problem waiting to the middle of the ring until he comes out. Of course, out comes, "Oh, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, what's going on, everybody? Hi, how y'all doing?" Actually, believe it or not, I didn't get to see the first couple minutes of this segment live because my TV was acting up. But anyways, so he is about to start talking, but then Daniel Bryan comes out with Rowan. Bryan tells Vince not to waste another breath on the New Day's fragile egos. If they want to quit, let them quit. New Day is nothing but a stale novelty act, and one that Vince created. And if he wants to make another one, just call 3 dudes up from NXT, call them Fresh Afternoon, and give them waffles to throw to the crowd, and they'll be more popular than New Day ever was. That's because Kofi is nothing but a B-plus player, and let's face it, he lost last week. He lost at Fastlane. He lost at Chamber. And don't let the parasites in the audience get into your head. Vince has been right about Kofi every step of the way, 100%. And these people are wrong. Just like Kofi, these people refuse to accept that reality. Woods calls Bryan out and accuses him of being too scared to face Kofi one-on-one. And he's turned into everything he used to fight against, a hypocrite. And that's why he's here right now. Bryan starts to respond, but Vince tells everybody to shut up. He wants to talk about this quitting crap first. Are they going to quit repeatedly before saying they're not going to quit? The power of positivity is a psychological crap to make Vince think that they're going to quit. But they were never going to quit. And he gets it. Everybody loves what we have here. Or mostly everybody. Kofi and always will be, in McMahon's eye, a B-plus player. To which Bryan chimes in and agrees. But then Vince says he only questions whether the other two are a B-plus tag team. All respect for Kofi, he gets it. And he asks if they can put Kofi into the WWE Championship match. All they have to do, and Kofi's out of opportunities here, but if Big E and Xavier Woods can win a tag team gauntlet, then Kofi is in. So, of course, Bryan, does not approve. But, my thing is, though, is why do Big E and Xavier Woods have to win a gauntlet match for their teammate, though, to get into a championship match at WrestleMania? It's just, what's in it for them? Kofi himself proved it last week. With the exception they brought out Daniel Bryan and Bryan beat him, okay. But why did Big E and Xavier Woods have to do the work now to get Kofi in? I'm not sure. To me, that's a proof that they deserve an opportunity. Was this set up like a tag team match, something like that for WrestleMania? Even though there isn't really anything set yet for the tag titles at all for both Raw or SmackDown, all for WrestleMania. Even though they've teased maybe the Usos and the Hardy Boys, but we have one more episode of SmackDown left. They haven't teased anything yet. So I don't even know if the tag titles are even going to be on the card at this point. Also, they haven't done that. They haven't announced a women's battle royale, which, cool with me. And now, apparently, we're not getting a SmackDown Women's Championship match. But here's the kind of problem I kind of have with this, though, with this story also. If Vince McMahon really does not want Kofi getting this championship match at WrestleMania, why is he not in some ways trying to find another number one contender for Daniel Bryan's title WrestleMania? Why is he not, at least having some sort of number one contenders match? Somebody else basically, kind of like in Kofi's way, basically. The gauntlet match, worked fine. But if Vince screwed him last week, then why, instead of trying to find a new number one contender this week with Kofi kind of trying to, jump over the hurdles or whatnot, making the story a little more interesting. Instead, why are you giving, Big E and Xavier Woods to do Kofi's work? Like it doesn't quite make sense. Like it's like Vince is like, just like, just like a go, oh, you wanted it again? Oh, you wanted it again? Well, again, if wouldn't Vince himself want to have his, world champion defend his title at Mania though, in general? So like, why isn't he? He didn't want Kofi in the match at Fastlane, so he went out of his way to put Kevin Owens into the match instead. Okay, so why aren't you doing this again this time with of course somebody else, like someone to definitely get good heat on, before WrestleMania? So I don't know, like the fact that New Day, Big E and Xavier have to win the opportunity for Kofi. It's like, wasn't it for them? Like, are they going to win Are they going to get a tag title match at WrestleMania? I don't know what the hell's going on. But we'll get into this more a little later, of course. So then we have Becky Lynch backstage being interviewed. This took a very interesting turn, this whole thing right here. She says she's just out here changing the game and says she's going to win at WrestleMania just like she won in the Beat the Clock Challenge. She brings the people. Ronda brings the title. But what does Charlotte bring to the match? Can you tell her? Basically, saying basically kind of like, Charlotte's a third wheel, which I kind of said this yesterday in my Raw review. At this point, with how they've, overcomplicated the story, Charlotte in this match now feels very pointless. Like, I get it, Charlotte deserves this moment also to being the main event because, she's definitely done a lot for this women's division. Even though, yes, I get it. She's gone to a point where she gets way too many opportunities. I agree. But at least WWE has rolled with, the right, tactic for her, making her the heel, of course, that gets a lot of opportunities at least. But I still, she does deserve this. But at this point, it started making me more so wish it was just Becky and Ronda, especially after what happened next. So Charlotte wanted to prove basically she's not just a third wheel. So she comes out, and of course we go to break. Coming back from break, out comes Asuka. I'm like, wow, she wants to prove she can beat the champion maybe, or something like that. But then I'll do a shocker, and the announcers got to give credit to, played a really good job of being shocked with this, announced that this is actually a women's title match. And I'm like, oh boy. Okay, maybe this is just to give, Charlotte, Asuka some momentum heading to WrestleMania, because apparently, at first, they even advertised it last night, on WWE's Twitter page. Tonight, we were supposed to be getting a fatal four-way match for the #1 contendership for the SmackDown Women's Championship, with the match being Carmella, Naomi, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville. That was supposed to be a fatal four-way, and the winner would face Asuka at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The match happens, and I thought this was another pretty good match. These two definitely, bring out the best each other, gotta give for sure. A couple really good near falls, especially, of course, I thought Asuka would get Charlotte when she got her in the Asuka lock. But my favorite part of this match, of course, was that Spanish fly that Charlotte hit on Asuka. Like, when do you? I can't remember. We've seen Charlotte do a moonsault. We've seen women do some fancy stuff. But ever since I've become more and more a fan of the cruiserweight division. I've seen that Spanish fly move that Buddy Murphy or Mustafa Ali. I'm sorry, Ali now, because he's just Ali. He's not Mustafa Ali anymore. He was backstage during the Gauntlet match in the main event. But the Spanish fly is definitely one of my favorite moves. And when Charlotte did that on Asuka, I popped. I thought it was awesome. But there was, of course, several times where Asuka was definitely getting good momentum. Again, like, this is probably the best Charlotte has looked since her feud with Becky Lynch ended. Like, since between Royal Rumble and this match, this is probably the best, of course, she had looked. The shocker, though, came whenever Asuka went to attempt the Asuka lock, but then Flair fought out of it. She reversed it, got it into the figure 8, and she bridged it. And you could see, they point out too, with the way Asuka's leg was bent, I'm like, there is no way she is not tapping out to this. And she tapped. Charlotte Flair is now a 8-time champion. And she's going into the triple threat match at WrestleMania with the SmackDown Women's Championship. So Asuka's not doing anything at WrestleMania now, unless they do end up doing the Women's Battle Royal, but they've teased nothing or haven't announced anything for that at all whatsoever. So my guess at this time, I'm hoping they just don't do it. I mean, if there was really supposed to be 17 matches on the show, you already got rid of a SmackDown Women's title match. That's out, so that means it's 16. They haven't announced anything for the SmackDown or Raw tag titles yet, so either not doing anything with those title matches at Mania, or maybe they're going to unify them, as I predicted in my car predictions. And the thing is, of course, at first, when they showed the new graphic for the main event now, with Charlotte having the SmackDown Women's title, they imply basically, as of now, the Raw Women's Championship, I think is still going to be the only championship defended in that match. But they said that they made some comment that, Alexa Bliss has things to think about as the host of WrestleMania now, something like that. So maybe Alexa will put both titles on the line. Maybe this is a unification match, maybe. Could be. Who the hell knows? And maybe that's what the plan is going to be going forward. Because I keep saying, we don't need 2 women's titles. We don't need 2 tag titles. We don't need 2 world titles either. But, of course, I'm very worried, what would they do with what are they going to do with the world titles if they would, unify them right now. Because look who I know, Seth Rollins, I'm still hoping will defeat Brock, but, who knows? WWE might pull something up their sleeve and have Brock still retain, unify them, have him squash Kofi or something like that. Oh, man, that would be just god-awful if they did that. I'd hate it. So maybe they're going to be unifying some titles here soon. They may. I don't know. So I'm not sure how I feel about this, because here's the thing. If both titles are not on the line, it's just one, then this should have been then I'm more so wishing that this main event would have just been Becky and Ronda. Because now Charlotte being in it now kind of would make it feel a little pointless. If that was the case, they should have had, Asuka face Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania, and have Asuka, overcome, her first deficit and beat the woman she's never been able to beat yet. So I would have liked to have seen that now. So again, it's one of the things where it's like, I'm not sure where it's going, but it can go one way, and I definitely will not be happy with it. But if they're unifying the titles, then I actually kind of like this. Of course, that means they better give Becky the win then, of course. But again, Becky winning at WrestleMania means she has to pin Ronda. Because my thing at this point is, again, we've seen Becky defeat Charlotte how many times? Another reason why, Charlotte being in this match at Mania kind of feels a little points now, because Becky has beaten Charlotte how many times already? We know Becky can beat Charlotte. She doesn't need to beat her again. Like, the person she needs to pin is Ronda. So, again, I'm not sure what's going on here. We'll have to, of course, wait and see down the line. But Charlotte is now an 8-time women's champion. First women to ever get to 8 titles. She now has the record broken at all. Let's, continue on here. Well, Mark sent me just a Twitter message. Let's see what he says real quick here. Maybe it has something to do with the with the women's title situation. WWE is already retiring and hold on, it got cut off here. Retiring and getting rid of one major WWE title forever. Well, I can't. It's a video. I can't watch the whole thing now. Maybe, I guess maybe they're getting rid of something. I don't know. Maybe they are getting rid of some titles and merging them. Who knows? We'll have to wait and, of course, wait and see. Though, of course, what Alexa Bliss does about this next week, if she does anything about it. But yeah, 12 hours ago, it was still advertised for tonight. We were supposed to be getting the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership, but then, boom, that nothing happens. So, yep. We then have, of course, as Charlotte leads with her title, we have Kurt Angle coming out, gives Charlotte a little nod and approval for winning the championship, And then AJ Styles was being interviewed backstage because this match is supposed to be Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. Styles says he's honored to be Kurt's last match on SmackDown, privileged to be part of his career, and proud to be in the ring tonight. Angle's done more with his career than most of us dreamed of, and he's taken this seriously. Kurt may have laid the foundation, but this is the house that AJ Styles built. The match starts. Kurt hits a suplex out of the gates. He avoids the Angle slam, but then he rolls Kurt to a calf crusher, and then he gets out. Kurt gets out of it, and then reverses to an ankle lock. And then Styles crawls to the ring looking for a way out. Then he reaches the post to break it up, but then he throws Kurt to the turnbuckle face first, and then Orton comes down over his RKO, and then the match is interrupted by disqualification, basically. So then Angle does hit an Angle slam on Orton. So all right, would be nice to actually see these guys have a match, but I'm sure it could not have been like too great again. Because once again, love you, Kurt, but you're really not in the best shape anymore, as I keep saying. So that happens. We get a replay from an interview earlier with Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic. They're confident that Rey can beat Joe at Mania and become the new United States champion. Basically, that's all that was discussed. So we got that. Let's check the live chat before we move on, of course. Let me see here. Where were we at? So I wonder, are we going to get a tag team title match announcement at Mania on the go home shows? If we are, who knows? Big E and Xavier should have got a tag title shot if they won for sure. They should either give Asuka a rematch or put the SmackDown Women's title on the line in that triple threat match for sure. I feel bad for Naomi, Carmella, and Sonya because basically they're not going to be doing anything at WrestleMania since the Women's Battle Royal, of course, has not been announced yet, and it was pointless for sure. Again, if they at least give like a title opportunity or something out of it, then okay. But they get nothing but a trophy. So I don't know why. Of course, they even do it. They're talking about the tag team titles. That's what I sent you. So are they getting rid of like one of the tag titles or something? Who knows? I'll have to watch the whole video, of course, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, thank you for that info, Mark. Of course, then back from the commercial at the hour, we're informed, of course, that the main event has 2 champions in it. And plus, Joe and Jet will be playing Ronda Rousey's theme music live at WrestleMania for her entrance. Awesome. But again, we still don't know yet what's going to happen. Again, if this match is going to have both titles on the line or what's on the line. We'll have to wait and see. So then out comes The Miz, who gets a great ovation, and people were chanting, "Miz is awesome." He's like, "Yep, I like it." He says in 12 days, it'll be WrestleMania, and he has a rush of emotions, but this year is going to be different because the only image he sees is him ripping Shane McMahon apart piece by piece on the grandest stage in them all. He knows how he wants to do it, though. Shane lit a fire under him by making this personal and attacking his father. So he wants everyone to see him destroy Shane up close and make this match more personal. Because this whole segment is about The Miz offering a little bit of a proposition for Shane McMahon, which I kind of feel this match would have a stipulation, and it's going to have a stipulation. So we have no holds barred for Triple H and Batista. Give me what I want! And so The Miz, which I actually, when he requested this stipulation, and the way that they played it out afterwards, is really, of course, helping me a lot more to get a lot more confident in this babyface Miz. I really like, what this segment did for The Miz to help build more confidence in him as a babyface, to help get more over with the crowd, because they're really telling that story good again. When I thought this was going to be just a feud for what it was basically a few months ago, now I'm actually really into dig this feud, even though I don't know where it's going to lead for The Miz after this. But The Miz then says he wants to make this match at WrestleMania Falls Count Anywhere. So only God knows what Shane's gonna jump off this time. Who in God's name knows? But I am actually really pumped. And then he's gonna take Shane all over the stadium and showcase everything that he can do. Obviously, again, it's kind of showing that, the Miz's wrestling style has changed a little bit ever since he's kind of, been, leaning more towards the slowly turning baby face, basically, which actually really intrigues me. But then Shane's music hits. But then of course security members come out, and some members of some of the heels from SmackDown Live, which I believe was Shelton Benjamin, Primo Cologne, no Epico, just Primo, and hey, they exist, guys. Sanity came out as well, followed by, of course, Shane McMahon, who comes out last. Shane starts by yelling at Greg Hamilton for a proper introduction. Like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the best in the world, Shane McMahon, basically. And when he gets it, he says his security is here to protect Miz from him. When he heard about the stipulation, he couldn't believe it, but he guesses the A-lister is as dumb as his father looks. Of course, putting an image of Shane grabbing Miz's father's face, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure was for a little bit of, childish humor from Vince McMahon once again. Oh, I love the way he's grabbing his face, his potato face and whatnot. So, it's a little corny. That's kind of pushing it a little bit, just what you're trying to say there. He had a lot of time to reflect about what happened. Downloaded every camera angle to his phone to watch over and over again. And the more he watched it, the better it makes him feel. When he beat the holy crap out of the Miz in front of his hometown, his father, it made him feel great, down to his bones. Then to really elevate it, when he put his hands on his dad's face, he paralyzed him with fear. He couldn't imagine what he was going through. Mr. Miz's head, and that took him past feeling good all the way to feeling. I thought first it was gonna say it took Shane from feeling good to feeling awesome, but instead he's feeling euphoric, and he has a taste for it now. The greatest mistake of Mr. Miz's life was impregnating his mother, and of course that's when the Miz snapped he'd had enough. And I love this. He got out there and again, you think about the Miz, before. He went back down from so many fights, being that A-lister who was just all talk. But again, his talk was just that effective that him backing down the fights was completely forgivable for his character. But this is the Miz. He literally just looked like just some guy, just like some guy who obviously may not be the best, in-ring performer, just out there trying to fight through all this security, doing whatever he's got to, showing, guts and heart, something that he hasn't really shown much in his career course. But he starts fighting through. He brawls and takes out each of the security guards one by one before he then gets to the actual rosters. He lays out Shelton Benjamin with a boot to the face. He threw Primo Cologne to the steps. And then he threw Shelton into a post again. And as Sanity swarms him, Shane though starts noticing that that Miz is kind of getting out of this. So he's slowly okay, to start backing away, going back behind the stage. He eventually fends off all members of Sanity, driving through the barricade, and he finally gets them all down. And Miz is pretty much standing, showing he flat out fought anything it took for him to still stand tall, showing that he has heart. Which the slow process again of turning Miz's face, again, I feel has definitely worked. I was concerned at first, especially when I saw that they went with Shane McMahon being the heel instead of Miz. I still feel Miz is a naturally great heel. But again, they basically had him, tell the story about how he feels like he's never really, had that much support from his father. And now he's won, of course. Shane McMahon, of course, has, stepped in and ruined it and tried to ruin it, basically. And, the Miz, again, though, has had, with the great work he's done in the past couple years, he, again, as I keep saying, has that to back him up to get people behind him. And started by, getting the sympathy in his hometown is what probably could have been the best thing for him to start this face. I feel like it would have been a little bit harder if it wasn't for that. But again, he has the story to back it up now. And now, of course, he's gone from being the guy that, just weaseled out of everything to now showing that, hey, when I actually do try, I can really, beat the crap out of people. And it works. Like, I'm really getting behind this Miz Face character for sure. And with it being false count anywhere, besides the fact that I have no clue what Shane McMahon's going to have in mind, like what he's going to jump off of course, at WrestleMania this year. But I'm actually a lot more excited for their match. I think it could definitely be, a show stealer for sure at WrestleMania. So we'll have to see, what happens with that as well. Then, oh gosh. So anymore, SmackDown has a habit of showing stuff that happened on Raw. Raw does the same thing with the previous edition of SmackDown. So this is kind of a segment where the announce team was kind of, mentioning how, Alexa Bliss kind of has her hands full with, what's going on with this main event now since she's the host of WrestleMania. Of all things they had to do, they said she also had her hands full last night when she dealt with this on a moment of bliss. Of all things to show on Raw again, you had to show this segment. Of course, I'm not even going to talk about it because it makes me sick. And then, of course, the Iconics who, again, women in black attire, again, for some reason, really turned me on. But the Iconics, damn, you were looking good tonight. But they get a handy cam promo talking about how they're going to be in the women's tag team championship match at WrestleMania. Now WrestleMania this year will be iconic. Or they didn't post. They just smiled, and they're pretty quite attractive smiles. But anyways, get off track because I know I have no chance for either one of them. Our main event was the gauntlet match. It was the New Day, of course, having this gauntlet match. And again, they have to win this to give Kofi his WrestleMania opportunity, which I still think okay, but at the same time, it's like, they could have gone a different route with this. Like Kofi pretty much did what he didn't do last week, but he just didn't beat the one extra guy that Vince threw out there with it being Daniel Bryan, of course. So yeah, they should have done something more with Kofi rather than just having the New Day do his bidding for him. Unless again, if someone suggests to me, unless they're going to have Kofi or Big E or Xavier turn on Kofi, which if it anyone again, I still keep hoping it's going to be Big E because I do feel again Big E has a lot of single potential for sure, and they want to do a feud with Big E and Kofi for the World Championship after WrestleMania. Be my guess and go right for it. So the first team that they faced was the Club, Gallows and Anderson. It was a short match, and New Day eliminate them pretty quickly. And it was kind of a match where I was like, yeah, I'm kind of surprised it happened quickly because it just made me think back to, well, first off, probably did this because Gallows and Anderson are supposed to be leaving in September. So they're just going to treat them like crap, of course, like they treat Dean Ambrose and anyone else is getting ready to walk out the door like crap. And and also seeing this match made me think of their awful feud back from 2016. A feud that should have been good, but was flat out awful and just killed the Club completely, especially with the old day. I'm not going to go back there, but of course, that gave me terrible flashbacks. So the first team they had to defeat was the Club, and they did. The second team they had to defeat was a team that, once again, I still don't get why they're a team, is Rusev and Nakamura. They defeat them, too, also. Of course, again, I said before, we have Kofi and, a lot of, the baby faces backstage. Of course, see Nikki Cross being back there going like as stiff as a board, like I just love it. It's quite epic. So New Day eliminated Rusev and Nakamura. So the next out comes the Bar, obviously. And of course, New Day and the Bar have some history together. Kind of emphasize them as one of their biggest threats so far. They had some good back and forth action. It's definitely the longest match, but eventually they pinned Sheamus with a schoolboy pin from Xavier Woods. And of course, afterwards, they do beat down on them. And then to a little bit of a shocker, they pull out a table and then they powerbomb Big E through the table. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be it. The fourth tag team to come out, the Usos. Now, when I was watching this tag team gauntlet match, I'm still thinking here once again, why would they have again Big again? I still don't get Big E and Xavier Woods, having to do this work for Kofi. I mean, last week when they did the gauntlet match, they had heels in there, people who obviously were against Kofi being in that match at WrestleMania. So I'm like, it would be a bad deal. Like, I was hoping that Sanity, even though they probably would have lost, Sanity would have been getting a match in getting a spot in this gauntlet match or something like that. They bring out the Usos. And I'm just like, okay, you really think, with the respect the Usos and New Day have gained for each other storyline-wise, you really think that, they're going to, like, why would they want to take Kofi's moment away? But then they get on the microphone and they say everybody knows they fought wars with the New Day, and everybody knows that Kofi, though, deserves to fight for the title. He's already earned their respect, the respect of everyone in the locker room and the WWE Universe. So that being said, good luck, because the Usos forfeit. The Usos forfeited, which makes sense, but now wondering, okay, with the rumors of maybe the Usos leaving, because their contract's due to expire next month also. I mean, there was kind of rumors up for a couple days. With the Usos leaving, though, could that lead? And I'm pretty sure a team forfeiting, just giving the New Day a freebie, would not sit well with Mr. McMahon. So would he want to punish the Usos in some way? Like if they do put the title for they do merge like the tag titles, maybe could they maybe put the careers on the line? Like if they would have the Usos versus the Revival, would they put their careers on the line maybe? And whoever loses leaves WWE. If the Usos are due out, which I'm not saying I don't want the Usos to go, of course, unless they are going. And I wish them the best of luck. But as I'm saying, maybe that's going on. But like, why have the Usos just come out there? Obviously, that they wouldn't want to take away Kofi's moment. To have another champion lose again. Why do this and then have them forfeit and then not get punched? Like, it wouldn't make any sense to me. So that happens. And finally, backstage, we then see Brian and Rowan backstage just flipping out and just trashing the locker room. And then the last team, of course, the New Day face is Brian and Rowan. And, of course, it looked pretty dominating for a while with Brian and Rowan until, Woods and Big E, would fight back at Albert. But then obviously we showed that it's going to take a lot to put them down. So then Eric Rowan goes to clear the table. And at first I thought, oh, don't tell me they're going to put Rowan through the table and they're going to have Brian lose again and get pinned. But it was not the case, as they did take Brian outside the barricade. But eventually they ran Rowan into the post several times, threw him over the table, and then buried Rowan under the table and took a count-out victory. And because of that, Kofi Kingston is going to WrestleMania. An interview that tries to catch Mr. McMahon before leaving in his limousine, he says that New Day win was impressive and Kofi is going to Mania, but the real question is if a B-plus player can beat Daniel Bryan for the title. And he just leaves. He doesn't even want to talk about it. And then, of course, Kofi, gets all the support he can get. The babyface roster comes out, pours celebration, like slamming on the mat and whatnot. So, yes, I'm happy Kofi's going to WrestleMania, but once again, was this the right way to do it? I would rather have seen this week on SmackDown Vince McMahon, do something like, maybe he could have done one thing which would have been okay, but still would have been kind of average for me. Maybe he say, okay, fine, Kofi, you did beat everyone I put you in your way, but you did lose to Daniel Bryan. Prove that you couldn't beat him, but you still want the gauntlet match. I'll still give you the match. However, if you do not win this, then you're fired, basically. Since since you've been standing up to me because I'm Mr. McMahon, goddammit. You already have a match with careers on the line again with Triple H's career on the line, the no holds barred match against Batista. Or again, like I said before, if Vince McMahon did want Kofi in the match, why was he not finding another number one contender? He could have had, Kofi. I mean, like someone else. Like I don't know. Like Andrade's not doing anything, but I'm not sure if he'd be ready for a championship match. Or I don't know, like somebody else, like, thrown into that championship match, instead, just for Kofi to just have like Kofi just jump through the hoops again or something. Like if Randy Orton didn't have a match already, I'd say he'd be the good choice because of his history with with Kofi. But again, I don't know. Like, I feel like they could have done something a little different. And then of course the stuff with Charlotte also was just shocking. But SmackDown was definitely interesting but strange. One of those episodes where it's like, okay, I don't hate what happened, but concerns me a little, and I gotta see more what happens, just to see what happens next. So for my polls this week, we have 14 votes for what grade would you give SmackDown Live. 71% say A and 29% say B. Nobody says C or D or lower. And for 13 votes for what show you want Raw or SmackDown Live, 13 votes, 23% said Raw, 77% SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live for sure was a better show. I again give it a B only because again it was a good show, but stuff that happens that concerns me is stuff that I feel like still can be good, but I need to see what happens next. So for now, the SmackDown gets a B. Let's check the live chat again. They should unify all the titles except the mid-card titles for sure. Miz was awesome for sure, and they should be doing everything to make them want to stay, not treat them like crap. That's why a lot of them want to leave for sure. You also gave SmackDown B and said SmackDown was better. So thank you, Mark, again for your stuff in the live chat. Guys, I'm going to check out here, guys. I'm going to watch 205 Live, probably review that in about an hour or so. What grade would you give SmackDown Live this week, guys? Your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure, as always, to click my like and subscribe more content to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DeMarRyan3. Again, I'll be back up here shortly for my 205 Live review. And tomorrow will be NXT UK and NXT Live reviews. And Thursday will be my top 10 WrestleMania matches with best and worst for my special live stream. As always, stay tuned for more, odds and ends coming to this channel as well. And of course, again, we are 12 days WrestleMania and 10 days away from around this time. I would be on the road to New York next Friday. So until then, guys, I will see you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night and peace out, everybody.